Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is a digital asset investor. Before we get going, I wanted to address this. Many of you weren't there, but a few years back, we had a company called Celsius, and they were giving, in a lot of cases, ridiculous interest rates, like giving yield on XRP and other digital assets, and I think you could even borrow money against your digital assets. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think you could on Celsius. But anyway, Celsius ended up being a fraud. But I wanted to make a different point here. My point is look how complicated this is. Right now, before regulations, I don't care what it is, if you're getting yield on XRP anywhere, I'm not picking on anybody in particular, but if you're getting yield anywhere, there's going to be risks associated with it. And my only point is, whatever it is, you need to know exactly how the yield's being gotten so that you can understand exactly what that risk is. If you're borrowing against your XRP, which I would highly recommend not doing because of how young the market is, but if you are doing that, you need to understand exactly what it is. If you're borrowing against it, what are exactly your risks? If XRP tanks 50 cents, what are your risks? I mean, when they announce interest rates, for instance, today, you don't ever know what these markets are going to do. The market could tank after interest. It might happen. Well, I've got my XRP safely put away, and so my only risk is if it is of the price going down. If it goes down, I'm probably just going to accumulate more. But I know that it's safe, and that's what's important in this thing. The other thing is, I don't care what the investment is. If anybody's telling you to invest your XRP and then they're doing anything other than putting it in either cold storage or, in my opinion, institutional grade storage, if they're doing anything, whatever the investment is, if they're borrowing against your XRP, you need to understand exactly what in the world is going on, exactly what's being done with it, and how's money being made with it, and all that kind of stuff. I don't care who it is; that's irrelevant to this conversation. Those are the things you need. But right now, for me, and I'm not a financial advisor, but for me, the only thing I'm worried about is keeping my XRP safe, and that's what I do with my partner Caleb and Brown. I keep it in institutional grade custody, and I have it there so that when the time comes, if I want to sell some, I'll have institutional grade liquidity, and I'll have a broker that I can actually talk to. I've got 3 options now. I can either call them up on the phone, I can email them to do a trade, or now they just came out with their Caleb and Brown app. I can direct message them through the app if I would like to, and they can handle whatever I need. And that is what I'm doing, is keeping it safe until this market matures some. More liquidity, all the things that are important. We got a 301 XRP. The market is flat. It's not really moving because it's waiting on the Fed to make its decision. That's all that's going on right now. By the way, I forgot to mention something. So I've been telling you all about my son's baseball since he was 11 or 12 years old on this channel. I used to have him in a cage all the time. I was going to give you a little update. So he is now been invited to a top 10 academic school in the country to go to their baseball camp. Now that doesn't mean that anything's going to happen in terms of offer. He's at JUCO right now. He's been there for 1 year. He's in his 2nd year, but he's gotten the opportunity to go pitch at a camp, a top 10 academic school in the country, and that's a good thing. So I'm excited about that. This kid's worked his butt off. He deserves it. I told him from the time he was young, the prize does not go to the natural athlete. The prize goes to the guy who gets kicked in the ball. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. Gets kicked in the you-know-what and gets back up and keeps working consistently over a long arc of time. That's the guy that wins. It's never good. Look at Arch Manning. It's the worst thing that can happen to a kid. The worst thing that can happen to a baseball player is to be in the Little League World Series, because you're automatically on people's radar, and you really have that's a very easy thing to happen to you. It can all go downhill because your head gets too big, and then you don't work as hard as you did to get there, and all of that. Some kids can handle that, but most can't. But if you look at like Arch Manning, think about the pressure that's been put on this kid. You get paid millions of dollars before you even do anything, and now look. I mean, that's the worst thing that can happen to you. Being the underdog is a gift. Knowing that you have to work harder than everybody, and learning to do that from an early age and building that work ethic into who you are is everything, folks, because I don't care who you are and what everybody thinks you are, you're going to get burned. Okay, Rex shares launching tomorrow. Rex Osprey XRP ETF. The first U.S. listed ETFs offering spot exposure to XRP and Doge. Live tomorrow, offering investors a way to access these digital assets through an ETF structure. So if you're someone who's out there who's been watching all this for all these years and it just makes you nervous having to custody it and all this stuff, like some of we nerds out here, I understand. There's a lot of investors who have never been comfortable. They're about to be comfortable because they won't have to worry about the custody and all that. It'll be handled through these ETF issuers. A whole new set of investors. And then CME Group is going to launch options on XRP futures. The rise of digital asset treasuries and other access vehicles for crypto has only accelerated the need for institutional hedging tools in Solana and XRP. Okay, looks like this is Paul Graywall, the chief legal counsel for Coinbase. In 2024, SEC squeezed greater than $600 million in fines because firms didn't keep text as required by their rules for keeping records, specifically text. But Gary Gensler was deleting his text while that was going on. And by the way, Gary Gensler was on CNBC today. What a joke. Until some of these people get prosecuted, folks, nothing's going to change. Write it down. Listen to Ethereum Roadshow Tom Lee.
And then I think, financials I think are still important because I think that they're going to re-rate more like technology stocks. Goldman and JP Morgan are basically technology companies now. And as they embrace the blockchain, they're going to become more streamlined and less employee dependent, much more AI driven.
Wow. Standard Chartered, Fed could surprise markets with a 50 basis point cut. Now, if that happens, folks, I have a feeling this market's going to go very green very quickly. Let us pray. Okay, here's Representative French Hill. He's talking about the market infrastructure bill.
Exactly right. We passed in the House in July the Clarity Act, which got 78 Democratic votes, meaning we had a strong bipartisan vote over the suspension of vote level in the House, meaning more than 290 members came together to vote for the Clarity Act, which is that market framework which will make America the most competitive digital asset nation in the world when you combine it with the Genius Act that President Trump signed into law in July, which is the dollar-backed payment stablecoin legislation.
And you are somewhat gratified with what the Trump administration has done. There's been some progress, obviously, with the Genius Act, but what I didn't realize was how more advanced, is that the right word, for crypto use in the economy is in South America, and maybe even in Europe, in terms of legislation, where we're definitely ahead with liquidity, and we've had some good IPOs, but we're lagging without this structure in place.
That's right. We can't be competitive and lead the nation in fintech if we don't have this market framework. I told President Trump back in July that if you sign the Genius Act and you pass it, it's like passing a bill that authorizes the use of a cell phone, but you have no cell towers. You don't have the rules for custody, for dealing, for exchanging. for serving as a trader, for how you're going to actually operate a blockchain network inside the financial services industry. So we need both. They're both essential. And as you point out, the Senate is now considering the Clarity Act under Tim Scott's leadership in the Banking Committee and John Bozeman's leadership in the House of the Senate Ag Committee. And we hope that they will take prompt action on that this fall during the October and November timeframe. I'd love to see the Clarity Act pass the Senate before.
Okay, look at this. Tom Emmer, it was a pleasure to moderate a panel discussion on the future of digital asset policy. So they're working on this crypto legislation big time now. And then we have this. This is interesting. Elon Musk says, I now think XAI has a chance of reaching AGI with Grok 5. Never thought that before. Paul Barron, who's an engineer by trade, lock in the impact on investing, culture, and business about to make seismic shift to XRP for AI transaction rails globally. Folks, this is what I'm trying to remember what they call it. Machine, like automated payments via AI, via machines, if you can imagine. I mean, I remember an example a long time ago, and I think Brad Garlinghouse said it. I've never been able to track down the clip. It's been a long time back, like maybe 2018, 19. He said something about, I think it was him, but somebody said, imagine you're driving, like I drive in Atlanta when I'm going to the airport and stuff all the time. Imagine that you're driving through the 285 is the terrible traffic up there in Atlanta. Imagine you're driving down 285 in the morning in rush hour traffic, and you're trying to get to your job, and you're going to be late for a meeting. Imagine being able to stream XRP payments to the cars in front of you, and in return for being paid, they're moving aside as you come up. Imagine people being able to have streaming payments on in their car to be able to stream payments to the people in front of you to let you get by, stuff like that. I mean, there's all kinds of applications. I mean, all sorts of applications where that could go. Okay, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com, the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, click the join button below any of my YouTube videos. If you'd rather join through X, hit subscribe. Got a lot more. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.